We've selected 4 stories that really look closely at what divides us, what makes people different in their ideologies or in the way that they think about the world, but also what makes us similar in those same ways. Over the last 2 decades, our country has grown more and more divided. The effects have been taken out on families, politics, social class, and the culture at large. No matter your affiliation, we all have the topics we want to avoid over Thanksgiving dinner. This season at the studio, we've chosen 4 stories that search for unity in a nation fighting for common ground. The titles we chose for this upcoming season convey important relationships hurt and broken by divisive opinions of loved ones. Through listening, we can reach across the divide. Only then can we truly begin to manifest the American dream. In the words of President George H.W. Bush, in crucial things, unity. In important things, diversity. In all things, generosity. Presenting Season 4 at the studio, We the People Reach Across the Divide. John and Jen is a 2-person musical about a brother and a sister. It takes place from the 1950s all the way through the 1990s. It's really Jen's story of accepting her brother and also how her political differences and her arguments that she's had with her brother have affected the way she's raising her child.
I think what makes this musical special to me is the fact that, first of all, the ensemble is very small. Musically, with three pieces in the orchestra, and with 2 people on stage, the intimacy between the pit and the actors is quite telling. It also provides a very cohesive ensemble.
Neighbors, they're people who live next to you. Sometimes you like them, sometimes you don't. And this is a play that encompasses both of those things. I think the 2 characters in the show, they definitely go through different phases of their relationship. You know, sometimes they like each other, sometimes they don't. You know, they have a common problem to some extent that they're, you know, looking to deal with, and then some of the ramifications of that problem kind of, again, take them in both directions. You know, there's good times and bad times, and it's a very funny show. It's going to be something a little bit different, something that we haven't done a whole lot of here. There's a certain clown element that's going to be involved in the show. I don't want to give too much of it away, but it's kind of a different style for us, something new that we're doing, and you know, we're excited to bring it.
This really great piece that has actually only been produced once, fully produced, and it was produced up in New York, and so this is really sort of a neat opportunity for us. We are calling it the Southeastern premiere, but really it's the premiere everywhere except for New York. And we're getting to work with the playwright as well.
It's incredibly relevant right now, incredibly culturally relevant. I think it's impossible to miss it when you see it. Also, we've never done a show like this before. It's heavily stylized, heavily conceptualized. It's not realistic at all, and that's kind of the point.
Assassins is a piece that takes place in a kind of purgatory where all of the assassins from American history are kind of coming together and telling their stories. So we have everyone from John Wilkes Booth to Squeaky Fromm, and a whole bunch of other people in between, and they're all sharing their stories. And the central focus of that show is what happens when you take your political beliefs too far. What happens when you do something extreme? But it's a musical, so it has some really fun moments and really funny moments. There is a bucket of KFC chicken that nobody's gonna wanna miss.
Assassins will be the most talked about musical this season because, first of all, it is timeless. It deals with history. It deals with reality. It gets in the minds of people, and it also provokes a lot of inner thinking and questioning is, oh, I hadn't thought of that before.
Other Desert Cities is a play by John Robin Bates. It takes place on Christmas Eve of 2004, and it's really a play about a family dynamics, and having some opposing views and differences.
The father was an ambassador in the Reagan administration, and his wife Polly was a housewife. And they have 2 children. Brooke is a writer and Tripp works in TV. And Brooke has returned home for the Christmas holiday with a memoir. It is her 2nd book. Her first book was award-winning, and she has come back with her 2nd book. and it holds all of her family's secrets. And what she doesn't realize is that her family has more skeletons in their closet than she knew. And so her book is kind of this ticking time bomb.
I think this play was chosen because there are some really rich characters in the script. I also think it was chosen because it's about a family divided. And it's interesting because when I read it, I found myself identifying one way and then identifying the other, and I think that a lot of that will come through with our audiences as well.
Scenically, we're looking at something that's going to be in hyperrealism, which is very different from every other show of this season. And kind of on par for what we've been doing here in the past, but not what... It'll be the only show of the season that's going to be really, really hyperrealistic.
We'll see you at
The Studio
Theater for Season 4.